Hello, my lovely Leos. This is your reading for the week of July 7th, or when you hear this and it resonates, and it won't be for every Leo. So, Leo, the first thing that I see is I see you standing kind of like a priestess at the top of a volcano, right at the lip, and you're looking down and it's boiling lava and there's smoke coming out, and you're going, I can handle this. But the reality of it is, Leo, what Spirit is saying to me is, you don't have to be in the fire or right next to the fire in order to embody the fire. That you, by your nature, you come naturally by the ability to be extremely passionate. And when I say passionate, I mean that in terms of fire. The fire element, the fire energy is about anything that's passionate, any emotion that's passionate, anything that is done with great motivation and movement forward. That's all very much directed by the element of fire. Now, the thing is, Leo, what I'm getting here as I'm looking at this, I'm getting a few different stories coming in, so I'm going to try to make sense of it in more of a broad context. And what it feels to me is that you're being asked to look at those times in your life when you felt as though the only way for you to be strong was to be fiery. That almost is, and fiery, I want to clarify that, because fire doesn't always mean that you are going to be explosive and expressive in some way. Fire can also be about being controlling, okay? About maintaining control over whatever situation there is and organizing. It can be very much about the kind of energy that has power in it, but the power to contain. And that can be relationships, situations, and it can be very benevolent. It might be you organizing things in a way where other people can't organize them and making charity drives incredibly successful, or projects at work come to life. It can be so many different things. But what you're being asked to do really is to look at areas where that kind of needing to be in control, and not just needing to be in control, that's one thing, but also areas where you were out of control in a situation and you were hurt by it, and where you have not given forgiveness. Now, the theme of forgiveness has come up here quite strongly, as along with remorse and guilt. So what I'm looking at here is there a situation in your life that you are currently experiencing where there is a need for forgiveness? Yourself or somebody else? Is there some kind of remorse that needs to be let go of? And what I find fascinating about this, the way the card forgiveness comes up here within the pack that it comes from, it's really asking you to look at, have there been times in the past when you basically said to somebody, yes, I forgive you, but you didn't really. You still held the pain of being hurt. Because if you're still holding the pain of being hurt, then you haven't really been able to express and experience forgiveness at a spiritual level where you are able to understand that we all make mistakes and that there usually is no intention to hurt within people making those mistakes. But if you hold on to that hurt, then what's going to happen is that energy is going to resonate in you. And whether it's hurt by that particular person or hurt by somebody else, it can bring up all of those intense feelings when that quality of energy gets triggered in you. Okay? So you're being asked to really look at that. And you're being asked to look at it from the perspective of the forgiveness aspect. We are innocent creatures who are here to learn and teach each other. In this process, we'll sometimes do things that hurt each other. It's part of the journey towards self-awareness. There's nothing to forgive, only understanding to be had. Now, if you look at that with the humility card, there is more at work than just you. As you go through your day, remember that there are other influences which may know better. No matter what you think, no matter what you know or think you know, or what you're planning to do, remain open to the idea that there's wisdom beyond yours and stay open to the input. I find this absolutely compelling when I link it to the forgiveness that they're talking about. Because for me, what that is saying is, when you are looking at forgiving somebody or forgiving a situation, it's so easy to think that you understand exactly what's going on and to make decisions based on that. And often it's a closing down decision. Often it's a very natural kind of thing for a Leo to do, because Leos are very good at putting walls and containment. That's part of what fire is. It's about being able to really draw lines and set boundaries. But the unfortunate thing is that if you are in a position where you are unable to forgive, where you are unable to see beyond your hurt, the relationship can kind of get stuck there or break down completely at that point. Now, of course, this is something we all have to make choices about and learn. This is not just a Leo thing, but Leo, because you have a tendency, because you're fire, because you are fire, and because you are very strong in your sense of who you are, there can be a tendency to throw the baby out with the bathwater sometimes in order to stay away from any hurt or any sense of belittling or rejection from somebody else. That can create an inability to see beyond the moment and take in the big picture and grow and learn from that, which is really what relationships are about. You're being asked to clean up some of the leftovers that might be lingering with you. So if you are in a position where you are really using these ideas towards spiritual growth, you're really being asked to support your sense of who you are by remembering all the good that you are. And to more than that, even more than that, you're being asked to look at areas where you might have remorse around a situation that happened to you, or remorse around how you handled a situation. And you're being reminded that your power comes from your center. It comes from your heart. It comes from your higher mind. It doesn't come from your personality saying, no, you did that to me, I'm never going to forgive you. Or, I don't need that person. When you know saying that on some level, you're going to lose something. Okay? So you're being asked to really look at that. Notice how you are treating people or have treated people, and try to get in touch with what was the emotion in you at the time that was hurting you that you were unable to look at. Because that's what tends to keep us in the kind of forgiveness that says, well, if we really need to keep this person in our life, okay, you're forgiven, but not really. Okay? The hurt's still in there. If the hurt's still in there, it's not completely gone. So you're being asked to look at that, Leos. Because you know what? You have got so much vital energy, so much capacity to be creative, to reach out, to make connections in such positive ways. And so the more that you can use your power for good and enter into things with that security of feeling safe, not because you can go like this, but because you can negotiate and manage things, that is where you now become a huge dynamic force in the world around you. Okay? And also, excuse me, it's remembering that energy, that fiery energy, that power, that passion, it doesn't have to be anger. It doesn't have to be resistance. It doesn't have to be harsh. Fire can be warm and soothing and comforting. And you can experience that in yourself, because that's the kind of energy we want you to feel. We don't want you to be feeling the anger, the resentment, the blame, the repressed stuff, because that is fiery on your body and that's hard on your body. So try to move beyond that, okay? Excuse me. Okay, that's it, Leos. Take care.